Welcome to Things You Don't Know. Tonight, we're doing another episode of TYDK fake news stuff. Tonight, we're going to delve into a hidden community deep in the Florida Everglades, built by chimpanzees. Yeah, who learned sign language, taught it forward, and formed a colony that went undiscovered for many years.
And when they were finally found, the question wasn't how, but it was what now?
Because what now becomes a lawsuit, a political fight, an outcome few expected.
This is TYDK Nightly News. Before we begin, let me just reemphasize this episode is fiction. It is staged entertainment newscast from things you don't know. Fox News is licensed as entertainment and they get away with it. This also is purely entertainment. We're not presenting real news. Any references to real people or institutions are used in a fictional, satirical storyline. If you want actual reporting, please consult a professional news outlet. So here we go. Good evening. I'm your anchorman here at TYDK Studios.
I'm the TYDK news analyst.
And I am your field reporter.
Our report tonight begins in a place that resists easy searching: the Everglades, heat, water, insects, and distance. And it involves two chimpanzees, George and Mia, who disappear into that landscape and do not simply survive, they organize. The Everglades can conceal a great deal. It is terrain that blurs boundaries between land and water, between what is seen and what is missed, which helps explain how, in our fictional account, a community could remain hidden longer than anyone would have believed.
And this discovery does not begin with a tourist. It begins with routine work, survey patterns, wildlife monitoring, and an image that doesn't fit what the eye expects.
A cluster of shapes, repeated, not random. Platforms, shade, something built for use.
And that distinction matters, ladies and gentlemen. Nature makes patterns, yes, but it rarely makes the same practical platform in the same place over and over again.
Here is what we are told. Within the world of this story, George and Mia were captive chimpanzees at a private facility. They had been taught rudimentary sign language, not a full conversation as you and I would understand it, but practical signs: food, danger, go, stop, help, sleep, friend.
And the escape is not cinematic. It's quite the opposite. A storm, a rushed decision, a gate left unlatched. One small mistake followed by another.
Most escape stories end quickly because the world is not kind to an animal out of place. This one does not, because the Everglades provide cover and distance, and most importantly, time.
At first, George and Mia do what survival requires. They move carefully. They learn what to avoid. They learn, especially, what humans sound like when humans are near.
And then the story changes. George and Mia find other chimps, not wild chimpanzees. There are none in Florida. But there are animals that have been lost, abandoned, moved illegally, or just simply forgotten about. In this storyline, the Everglades become a place where unwanted turns into unfound.
And once you have more than two, you have the beginnings of a group. And once you have a group, something else becomes possible. We'll continue our report in a moment. First, these messages.
Hurry up, act fast. Social Security is sending $10,000 to people signing up and paying a processing fee of $250. Answer our 10-page questionnaire and supply your banking information, and your money may be on the way. Let me sell you on this so you can lose lots of money and have nothing to show for your hard work.
And we are back. This report turns on one detail. George and Mia teach signs because a behavior that can be taught can also be passed on, and what is passed on becomes, over time, culture.
The early signs are quite practical. Danger, quiet. Come, stay, share. Help me, here's some food. The kind of signals that lower conflict and raise survival.
And once the signs stabilize, they become more than gestures. They become expectations. Who watches? Who warns? Who shares? Who gets pushed away?
The sign language does not make the chimps human, but it makes the colony more coordinated, and coordination out there changes everything.
And the next leap is building, not houses as we think of them, but platforms, shade, partial walls, imperfect but functional.
That's the key point. In harsh environments, you do not need perfection. You need something that works. Elevate above water, reduce exposure, protect infants, keep your food supply from smaller scavengers.
And gradually in the story, movement turns into settlement, and settlement turns into propagation, more infants, more adults, more routine.
A colony, quiet, not discovered for years.
Which brings us to the next turning point, the Miccosukee. The Miccosukee community in South Florida has deep ties to the Everglades, cultural ties, environmental ties, political ties. In our story, they are not learning about the land from the headlines. They know it. They notice patterns.
The record says that Miccosukee hunters and airboat operators begin seeing signs, platforms where platforms shouldn't be, food caches, repeated trails.
And then comes a decision that is central to our story. The tribe debates what to do.
The Miccosukee leadership reaches a controversial conclusion. The chimp colony is not treated as a nuisance to be removed. It is treated as a dependent community to be protected.
And they go further. This is the extraordinary part in the story. They actually allow the chimps to join the tribe under a protective status, not as humans, not as ordinary citizens, but as members under tribal care.
It is a claim foremost of responsibility, and inevitably it becomes a claim of sovereignty.
All right, now we're going to pause right there. But when we return, how this story becomes a national argument.
First, a word from our sponsors. Now back to the Everglades. Public discovery does not arrive gently. It arrives at speed. Video, photographs, commentary, argument, and the story becomes political.
Now, this is where the storyline introduces a public figure. In the fictional world of tonight's episode, Donald Trump calls for the chimps to be removed, framing the colony as an unacceptable presence and pushing for what he describes as deportation.
And in a not surprising move, he orders ICE to go in to the Everglades and remove the chimps. What he doesn't realize is that ice do not know the Everglades. The Miccosukee do. The chimps do. The ice regiment is destroyed.
And the conflict is immediate because the Miccosukee position is equally firm. You are not removing them. They are protected here.
Support builds odd coalitions, animal welfare groups, tribal sovereignty advocates, people who simply do not like the idea of armed removal in a swamp. And the tribe does what tribes do when sovereignty is challenged.
They sue. The case in our story becomes a national spectacle. At its core, who decides membership? Who decides protection? And what limits, if any, exist on that power?
The argument is not, our chimps people, that's obvious. The tribe does not need that claim to win. The argument is narrower. The tribe has authority over internal determinations. The chimps are protected dependents under tribal law. Removal would violate jurisdiction and the tribe's right to govern its own community according to its own laws.
And the government's argument is quite blunt. They are animals. You cannot create a category that binds federal agencies.
And then the ruling. Fictional but decisive, the court splits the difference. The chimps are not declared human. They are not granted ordinary citizenship, but the court recognizes the tribe's authority to designate them as protected non-human tribal members, a status that blocks forced removal absent a clear emergency.
That status forces the federal government into a position it does not like, issuing official recognition that for administrative purposes, this chimp community is treated as part of the tribe's protected population.
And suddenly the headline becomes U.S. recognizes chimpanzee community under tribal protection.
We'll have the final implications in just a moment. Stay with us through this commercial break.
Hey there, Frick Frack with Do It All Cleaners. Hurry up to get your bottle of Magic Deleter, the first product that will clean anything from the oven to the floors, pans, and ceilings. We are running low on supplies, so rush your order for $25 today and be the first person on your block to wipe out and destroy all your valuable merchandise.
We have time now for what this means inside the world of our stories. And this aftermath, 3 pressures appear at once.
First, the public curiosity turns into risk. People want to visit. People want proof. People want footage. The tribe refuses. In the story, they say, a protective community stays protected by not turning into a spectacle.
Second, there's political and legal precedent. If one tribe can designate non human members as falling under protection, politicians and agencies begin asking, what comes next elsewhere?
Third, the Everglades. Any new population changes an ecosystem already under stress. So, in the story, the tribe sets rules, limits on expansion, monitoring, and most importantly, no commercialization.
And beneath all of this is the question the story keeps returning to. When a community forms, communicates, builds, teaches, protects infants, organizes conflict, what do we owe it? At minimum, we owe it restraint before force. We owe it thought before spectacle. Well, this is our TYDK nightly fictional report. George and Mia, the Everglades colony, and the court ruling that reshaped belonging inside the world of tonight's story.
And just a reminder here, folks, this is strictly entertainment. A what if told as a newscast, meant to sound real, but not to be mistaken for real.
Yes, and also the commercial ads, they're fake. So, don't go getting them.
Don't go trying to buy these products. You'll be there for a long time.
Yeah. For Dr. Sean Deneen and Chandler Foster, I'm Dr. William Weaver. This has been TYDK Nightly, a fictional broadcast presented as entertainment. And that's the way it is on this program.